This is Newton's third law, and Newton's third law talks about interaction between bodies. So imagine you have a hammer, right? And then you are hammering this nail here. So the hammer exerts a force on the nail, right? There is a force from the hammer on the nail. So because there is an interaction here, there is going to be a force from the nail on the hammer. Those two forces, they form a pair, and the way to think about this is that this is an action-reaction pair. So now let's define some terms here. An interaction. So we typically are going to have two objects, and they interact if they are touching or they are pushing, or somehow there are forces from one to the other. That we call that an interaction. So the two forces, there's going to be a force from A on B and a force from B on A. Those are two forces. And so the bodies and the two forces, we call that action-reaction pair. So we have these two forces, and these are the action-reaction pair. So then we come to Newton's third law. Newton's third law says that all forces in nature, they come in pairs. They come as action-reaction pair. For every force, for every action, there is a reaction. So the two forces, they have the same magnitude, and they have opposite directions. So that is Newton's third law. So forces and action-reaction pairs are very important. They are, for instance, the forces that allows you to walk. When a person is walking, then the person exerts a force on the surface, and therefore the surface reacts and exerts a force on the person that is equal and opposite. This reaction here is actually what propels you in a particular direction and allows you to walk. And the same occurs for a car. For a car, then you have a force here that is a product of the road. So the car exerts a force on the road, and the road reacts with a force on the car. So we have here an example. We have a mosquito that runs head into a truck. So out of the 5 questions there, which one is true? The mosquito exerts more force on the truck than the truck exerts on the mosquito. The truck exerts more force on the mosquito than the mosquito exerts on the truck. The mosquito exerts the same force on the truck as the truck exerts on the mosquito. The truck exerts a force on the mosquito, but the mosquito does not exert a force on the truck. And the mosquito exerts a force on the truck, but the truck does not exert a force on the mosquito. Which one is true? Take a minute. So if you look at these possible questions, and you'll figure out that this is the right answer, because the mosquito, this is the truck here, that's the mosquito, so there is a force from the truck on the mosquito, and there is a reaction on the truck from the mosquito, and these two forces, by Newton's third law, they are equal and opposite. So they are an action-reaction pair.